what should your net worth be? We're going to go over the average net worth based on age, starting at age 20 all the way through 90, and you can see if you're ahead or behind or what's going on. First, we're going to dive into exactly what is your net worth, how to calculate it, and why it is so important. And then I'll go through decade by decade, the average and median net worth by age groups. We'll dive into the net worth by age, and if you're like feeling behind, don't really know where to start, I will show you a signature system on how to turn things around so you're not feeling behind anymore, and you actually have a plan and you can see your money work and grow for you. Why, hello my yellow groupers, I'm Carly, a finance grad and the creator of Best Money Class Ever, where I teach how to pay off debt in 36 months or less, invest to retire a millionaire, and stress less about money. Grab a seat, I'm about to spill the financial tea. Are you ready for it? First off, your net worth is not your self-worth. You could have a negative net worth, you could have a multi-million-dollar net worth. Your worth is not based on your wealth. What exactly is net worth? Let me break it down. The fast version is your net worth is your assets minus your liabilities. So let's break this down so you can really digest it and understand it. First off, your asset is everything that you own right now. What exactly is an asset? An asset is something that you own. For example, here are common assets. You would have your bank account, your savings account, your investments, which could be in a standard retirement account like an IRA or 401k plan, or it could be in a brokerage account. And you could also have the value of pensions or health savings accounts or high yield savings accounts and emergency savings. You also could have the current value of any other assets like a home or a car. If you have an RV or a boat, I do like to include those as assets on your net worth calculation. So then you will add the total current value as it is, and that is all of your assets. Then you'll want to look at your liabilities. Your liabilities is what you owe. Current liabilities would be, for example, what you owe on any sort of debt, which would be student loans, car loans, medical debt, IOUs, payday loans, credit cards, room furniture, any kind of payment plan. You also have, for example, your mortgage, what you owe on a home or what you would owe on a car, RV, or boat. You would take all of your assets and then all of your liabilities, and then you subtract them, and that gives you your total net worth. The reason why measuring your net worth is so important is because it shows your total financial picture of where you are right now. So for example, you could earn $300,000, but you might have this massive medical school debt, this huge mortgage, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you really don't have any savings or investments, so you would have a negative net worth, and you would be able to feel that on your day-to-day spending. On the other hand, you could make $40,000 a year, but have multiple six figures saved up over decades of saving and living below your means. I really like net worth because it really shows the real deal. I do measure, as a finance girl, your net worth on your balance sheet. So I did create a financial day planner. It is a day planner and financial plan in one. It has your balance sheet. I like to use this as a clarity point of where we are, where we're starting, and that it really is kind of empowering to see things change. As you track your net worth, you can see your assets growing and your liabilities declining. Obviously, your net worth growth isn't a straight line. The stock market fluctuates, it goes up and down, things do change and shift, but it is a great way to get crystal clear on where you are. Your net worth is on what is called your balance sheet, which I also call the ultimate BS indicator. It shows, do you look rich and have nice things, or are you kind of borrowing your way into looking rich? It shows the real deal and picture of where you stand right now. How often should you track your net worth? Some people track their net worth every single month. I like to track my net worth every single quarter. I want you to become Chief Financial Officer, manage your money like a boss. A lot of people lack accountability with money. As CFO, you'll have the built-in deadlines to measure your progress. You'll look in terms of fiscal years, and then you'll break it down by quarter. I like to break down my net worth update by quarter versus monthly. It's a personal preference. Biggest reason why I do by quarter is because, like I mentioned, the stock market does fluctuate, and it's really easy to get emotional and fear-ridden and listen to all the hype and news when you're constantly logging onto your retirement and investments accounts and seeing the value. If you log in just quarterly and kind of touch base and be like, okay, the market went up, down, here's where we are, we're just checking in, we know what's going on, but we're not getting too concerned about the investments because you're investing long-term for your retirement. It's something that you won't actually be needing to use that money this next month or even a year, 5, 10 years from now, right? So that's why I do measure my net worth quarterly. I personally have a goal of having $1 million net worth within 5 years. So tracking my net worth is a really good motivating way to obviously see that progress. Okay, let's dive into the net worth breakdown by age. I have a little bit of mixed feelings on this of like comparing your net worth by age, because I don't want you to feel less than or more than. It's just kind of seeing, okay, what's out there, what's the norm, how we doing? Maybe it'll motivate you to pay off the debt, to start investing more. That is my hope for you. But net worth is not your self-worth. Your self-worth comes from within. If you have $1 million net worth, you're not going to necessarily feel better at night. It's just a goal, and it's a progress, and it's a journey, and it's something that you can hopefully enjoy the process along the way. We're going to look at the average and then also the median for each age group. Of course, the average actually skews things. So for example, if you have a 21-year-old that has a $3 million net worth because they're like the top percentage, that's going to skew the average. The median is the middle number, and that is a more accurate portrayal of what's really happening in the world. As a heads up, this data is from Empower. I am a little bit curious. I'd like to know, Empower is a platform for investing. These numbers are skewed because I don't know if they took the numbers from only their users or from the entire population. If the numbers are from only their users, obviously that would then by default skew things higher because not everyone has an investing platform. There are plenty of people who don't have 401ks or any investments at all. So I'm not sure, but generally speaking, this is a good radar of what's going on out there. In your 20s, the average net worth is $139,243. The median, which is a lot more accurate, is $6,600. What's happening in your 20s is you're just getting started with your earning potential. You likely have some debt from student loans or maybe credit cards. You're getting things kind of figured out, but you are starting to pay off the debt. You're also starting to invest and build emergency funds. And then in your 30s, the average net worth in your 30s is $325,952. The median net worth in that age group is quite lower. It is $23,093. This report points out that people in their 30s, a lot of times, even though their income's increasing, they've had some time in their career, a lot of that income gets tied up by lifestyle creep and more expensive things like a mortgage and a car payment. This is when people start having kids and there's childcare. So some of the net worth boost is also from buying home ownership, buying a home, and values increasing in homes and real estates. In your 40s, the average net worth, it is $755,778. The median is much lower at $68,698. This is also a decade of lifestyle creep where you're keeping up with the Joneses, buying more expensive things, splurging on things like the country club and bigger, nicer, newer cars and a bigger house and a nicer neighborhood. In your 50s, the average net worth is $1.3 million. The median net worth in your 50s is $180,277,000. In your 60s, the average net worth is $1.5 million. The median is $274,564. This is when people are making that final push to retire. They're trying to boost the savings and investments to retire comfortably. And then at this point, oftentimes people have been homeowners for 20, 30 years, so they're seeing the value in their real estate increase. The average net worth in your 70s is $1.4 million. The median net worth in your 70s is $220,667. In your 70s and beyond, this is when people are retiring, and this is also when people are withdrawing from their retirement to live off of part of that nest egg. In your 80s, the average net worth is $1.3 million. The median net worth is around the same, $220,000. In your 90s, the average net worth is $1.2 million, and the median is $205,737. Take a breather. That's where everyone stands. What we want to focus on is where you stand right now and how to turn things around. And I will show you exactly how to turn things around in a few minutes or less. You ready for it? If you feel behind and you're not quite exactly where you want to be, but you don't know exactly how to turn things around, I recommend following the finance plan. It's the step-by-step plan with money, because a lot of times it's hard to know where to start. Should you pay off the debt? Should you invest? Should you save for a rainy day or splurge? This is the roadmap that you've been looking for. As a quick recap, I have a full episode on this, but if you want to build your net worth and you don't know which method or how to do it, here is the recap. Step number 1 with the finance plan is to save 10%. If you're currently paying off debt, I would do 5 towards retirement to take advantage of things like a company match with a 401k plan, and then 5% towards a starter emergency fund. So for example, if you're in your 20s and your 30s and you're like, oh, I want to turn things around, you want to make sure you stop adding on to your debt load and have that emergency fund building in the back burner. This also takes into account the easiest way to build wealth, which is to simply pay yourself first. I have a full whole episode on how this strategy works, but a lot of times people get into their 20s, 30s, and 40s and their lifestyle increases. They don't really get around to saving and investing. People always want to save money, but they wait until the end of the month and there's nothing left to save. So paying yourself first is literally saving and investing before you have the chance to spend it. So if you want to boost your net worth, start with step number 1 with a finance plan, which is to automate your savings. Step number 2 is then to pay off debt. I recommend doing the Spartan method, which is the method that I created. You pay all of your minimums plus an extra $300, like the Spartans, or more towards your highest interest debt. Once your highest interest debt is paid, you'll take that old minimum plus that extra Spartan amount, go towards the next highest interest debt, so on and so forth. Once you're debt free, then you will start investing all 10%. And then step number 3 with the finance plan is to build your emergency fund. You'll want to have 3 to 12 months of expenses in the bank for a rainy day. You can do this way faster than you think when you do my process of turning a liability into an asset. At this point with the finance plan, your debt is long gone, but you're used to paying it. So you can take those old minimums plus that extra Spartan amount and throw that in the bank to save for a rainy day. And then step number 4 with the finance plan is life purchases. This is to save up for the fun things in life, like a home, car, or early retirement. At this point, your investment's off to a great start. You've got money in the bank for a rainy day. Your cash flow is amazing because you don't have debt payments. Now you can save up for the fun things. So you can continue to turn a liability into an asset, take what you were paying towards debt, throw that in the bank, and outright buy a car with cash, save for a down payment on a home, or you can vamp that up and throw towards retirement. I am really curious and would love to hear from you. Where do you stand? What is your net worth? If you're feeling feisty and up for it, let me know in the comments below. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, I shared my recent net worth update. You can check that out. If you want to get clarity on where you stand with money, I highly recommend seeing what your net worth is and tracking it each and every quarter. This is the ultimate BS indicator. Like I said, do you look rich and have fancy things, or are you truly building wealth? This will help you refocus, recenter, and take that head out of the ground ostrich approach. You'll get so much financial clarity, and this will be a huge motivator to turn things around with your finances and to see the progress for all of your hard work. This is where you can see your investments compounding and growing, and this is where you can see if you're on a mission to pay off debt, the balance is going down. You can start tracking your net worth with a pen and paper or a spreadsheet. If you want the exact financial day planner that I use, it is linked in the description below. Thank you, my yellow groupers, for listening. Every single show has a dope name that they call their listeners. I am calling you my yellow groupers. We have slow starts, we get off track, we get behind, we get knocked down. We've been through some things. Nothing comes easy. The cards are stacked against us. The hands we are dealt are not ideal, but we don't ever give up. That is where our grit is born. Our trials, our adversities, that is what makes us stronger. Did you like this episode? If so, like it and subscribe. Be sure to share it with your friends who also geek out over personal finance. Leave me a 5-star review wherever you're listening. It really helps others who are on a mission to pay off debt and invest find this show. If you've been meaning to get your finances in order, now's the time, and this is the best place to start. Here, you'll overcome analysis paralysis with the finance plan. This is the roadmap that you've been looking for to pay off debt and invest, even if you have no idea where to start and you're living paycheck to paycheck. Are you tired of figuring this money stuff out on your own? You don't need to spend a lifetime stressed about money. You can turn things around in a month. I will show you exactly how. Best money class ever is my live and virtual 4-week personal finance class. Think of me as your personal finance consultant to help you get the results you want with money. Enrollment is currently closed. You want in? Get on the waitlist. Head on over to bestmoneyclassever.com or the link below. You'll instantly get a 20-page guide with the finance plan so you can start a plan to pay off debt and invest now. As always, remember you only live once. Be smart with your money now. I'll catch you later. Bye.